Hi everyone, how you doing? This is Unchrasmatic, and today I want to talk to you about the Godzilla 8-inch line from Bandai. Now, if you're a Godzilla collector, it's 99.9% certain that you've got Bandai in some facet in your collection, be it the 8-inch, or the 6-inch, or the miniature figures, the candy capsule figures, Bandai Creations. They produce a lot of materials and a lot of products, and they're the most prolific manufacturer in Japan for Godzilla goods, and they're the only US presence in terms of fully authorized Godzilla products here in the US right now. The 8-inch line is far and away, for me personally, my favorite Bandai product for Godzilla. It's very famous. It was the original mass-produced Godzilla series from Bandai that started back in the 80s. And this particular piece right here is the Godzilla 1964 version, the first edition that they released more than 25 years ago, 26 years ago, in 1984. So going forward, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and review each of the 8-inch figures that I have in my collection. It's not the complete line, but I've got a fair amount, maybe about 20 or so, well, more than 20, but forget about that. Right now I want to talk about this particular figure, and the Mosugoji suit from Mothra vs. Godzilla is probably one of the top 3 favorite Godzilla suits of all time in the eyes of many Godzilla fans. It's just the characteristic angry look, or the serious look. In this film, Godzilla was more or less portrayed as a villain, and there's a lot of medium out there in terms of reproducing this particular suit, a lot. And this was actually Bandai's second 8-inch figure that they've ever produced. The first one was Godzilla 1962, which I have, but I wanted to do this review first because I like this figure the most in terms of Godzilla figures that actually represent Godzilla. So we're going to take a look at this right here a bit. Let's move it a little bit closer. First of all, the color, I don't really know what the color is. I'm pretty bad with color names, but it's some hue of bluish green. Hopefully the lighting on the camera won't distort what the color looks like too much, but it is some type of blue-green combination with a bunch of highlights. Now, one of the things that I wanted to discuss about the early release of Bandai figures is that it was very difficult for you to buy. If you were at the store 26 years ago and you saw these for sale at the store, no two of these figures would be exactly identical, meaning that the spray applications, the painting applications, they'd all be different. If you go online and you try and check for pictures of this particular figure, for example, clubtokyo.com, just to go off the top of my head, you're going to see that a lot of the paint applications on this particular figure aren't the same throughout. The silver highlighting here might be more or less from depending on figure to figure. It wasn't fixed. It wasn't a fixed factory process as far as I can tell. You can even see here, let's close up a little bit there, some of that silver paint got off into the body area of the figure, so it's not an exact process, but I think that, to me, that lends to the appeal of the overall figure. Oops, too close again. There's wonderful detail in the face. You could see the scaly bumps on his mouth, the red tongue, the ridges that are characteristic of the Mosugoji suit, like right here above his eyes. You can kind of make them out. This figure is also a little bit fat in the sense that the sculpt is a little more, it adds a little bit more girth in the actual suit that they use in the movie. This tag right here is a beautiful tag. It's a little bit glossy because it's made of the plastic. It's not the regular cardboard tag that they use in the later releases. In this particular one, see, we get a close-up over here. This particular one features the Godzilla from the movie Son of Godzilla on it. It's got that silver sticker that lets you know it's an authorized Godzilla product. And see if I can do this without bending it too. Oops. And there on the cover, it's a very nice graphic of the Mosi Goji head. It says the Godzilla collection, Godzilla in katakana over here. Overall, I like the tag a lot on this. It's different. It's got a photo. It's got a photo of Godzilla on the back, on the front. It's very nice. And generally, this figure has some controversy / disagreement about the fans, or from collectors, I should say, at least, in terms of the overall appeal. To me, this figure appeals to me very greatly. The sculpt is not perfect, you know, it's not suit accurate to the highest degree. It's not accurate by far. You know, there's a lot of interpretive licensing that's going on, but also manufacturing limitations. You know, for example, let's take a look over here at the fins. You know, if you've seen Mothra vs. Godzilla, or if you have any of the other figures of this particular version of Godzilla, you know that the fins they don't look like this at all. You know, it's quite clear there's got some vinyl flashing on the sides here. The fins haven't been entirely cut. Perhaps they didn't have the technology for that, you know, actually. Maybe they did, but they might have gotten lazy about it. But, you know, to me, it adds to the personality of the figure. It's not perfect, but then again, it has its own character. One thing a lot of people don't like is the pose of the arms. You know, they're spread out wide. They're not really in that tucked in kind of regular stance that this particular Godzilla normally has in the suits. But, you know, it adds character to the figure, in my opinion. And yeah, the detail is very, very nice. You see the scales. And one more thing I wanted to highlight is that this Godzilla, similar to all the early run Bandai 8 inches, it's made of hard vinyl. And to me, that's a big deal. Hard vinyl is, you know, you can hear that, and contrast that to soft vinyl of the more mass-produced versions. Here's the GMK Godzilla by Bandai. You can tell that the sound is more muffled on the soft vinyl, and it's a little bit more squishy. And the hard vinyl just gives it a more, I don't know what you would call it, but I guess it would more, you could say, a more collectible feel. Like, it's less of a mass-produced toy and more of a collectible, I would say. And that's due in no small part being made in Japan versus the newer Bandai releases, or the latest Bandai releases for the better part of the past 10 years or so have been made in China. You can really tell the difference. The difference is really apparent in hand. And this figure was very expensive when I bought him. I bought him 5 years ago. It was, you know, comfortably over what you would want to pay for an 8-inch figure. But I've been a fan of Godzilla for a long time, and for me, getting this particular figure, you know, one of the first editions that Bandai ever made, was something that I really wanted to achieve. So, just do a quick comparison. Here's the later release of the very same figure from Bandai in 1989, I believe. So 5 years afterwards, and the highlighting is different. The tag is also different, but I've got the tag separate, but we're going to do a separate review on him later on.